Hey, everybody. Andy Kennedy here. I am trying a new platform, so I am broadcasting that platform on both. Why can't I? There we go. Cracking myself up this morning. This beautiful Wednesday morning here in Tennessee. And we are doing 60 days of toxic truths as we have been. And I am excited because our interview yesterday with Hannah reintroduced me to this platform, StreamYard. And so I'm going to try this for the next however many days we have left, 22 days of toxic truths, to see if this is a platform that's good for us, because it's so much easier to go live with one screen instead of like YouTube on my computer and Facebook on my phone. So getting back to it, today is Toxic Truths Day 38. Wow, I should have put that in the little thing below. So I'll do that tomorrow. But today we're talking about stress and the toxic truth of stress, and how stress can be really that silent killer for us, killing our joys and our dreams, and our energy and our light, and it can create so many other things in your body: pain, emotional pain, right? So we all know that stress is the silent killer, like sugars. It's interesting that they're both two S's. But I wanted to talk about toxic stress too. So I've pulled up some stuff here to read. Toxic stress from Harvard University is a response that can occur when experiences of strong, frequent, or prolonged adversity, such as physical and emotional abuse or chronic neglect, occur. And this repeated exposure to stress, we can get stressed, and that can get us in this, fight or flight mode, which is okay now and again, right? It's a natural response. It's actually a good response, a good test for the body, flushes the body a little bit. But to do that every single day, to go to a toxic work environment, for instance, my husband and I both have had toxic work environments that, you don't even want to go. And you're, from the get-go of the day, you're just stressed thinking about even having to deal with that, right? So this repeated exposure to stress without the benefit of some kind of buffering protection support, or any kind of mitigation of that stress, causes that toxic stress. So there's stress, and then there's toxic stress. Okay. And that's why it fits into one of our toxic truths. So changes in behavior, there's signs of toxic stress, changes in behavior, changes in emotions: anxiety, guilt, denial, grief, fear, irritability, intense anger, emotional outbursts, depression, withdrawal, panic, feeling of hopelessness or overwhelmed, difficulty sleeping, changes in sexual behavior, excessive alcohol consumption, or even temporary loss or increase of appetite. That's from Resilient Washington. And how does this is the last thing I wanted to read, and then I'll talk a little bit about mitigation and solutions. Toxic stress. What does stress cause? How does stress cause toxins in the body? Chronic stress damages the energy powerhouses of your body, your mitochondria. I know it also damages, your connective tissue, right? And your mental state, right? So stress can increase your toxic load by increasing your cravings for high fat and high sugar foods. Okay. So if you're trying to lose weight, or you're trying to get healthy, or you're trying to, change something in your life physically, improve your sleep, improve your immune health, and you do all the right things, all the right stuff for that in the nutrition category, but you're not losing weight, or you're not getting better sleep, or your emotional state is not better, check out your stress level. Because if your stress level is high, then unfortunately, that's, all the rest is not going to change what's going on in here, because our mindset is 80 to 90% of our reality. So if you're like, I'm eating healthy, I'm moving daily, I've cut out all the junk, but I still hate my job, or my boss, or and hate's a strong word. I don't love using that, but you get that feeling of, oh my gosh, I can't even bear this, right? So if you can't even bear your job or another relationship, which we're talking about tomorrow, I think tomorrow or maybe the next day, but we're definitely going to talk about relationships for a couple of days coming up here. I think the next 2 days. So yeah, that is going to affect everything else because that's a ground zero. And it can show up in skin. It can show up psoriasis and eczema, rosacea can show up internally as gut issues and IBS and irritability in your bowel. It can show up as depression or anger, any kind of other emotional upset. So that's stress. We all know that stress is, like I said, a silent killer. And then how to mitigate that. So, one, really start making changes at your workplace. So, asking for better boundaries, asking for therapy from HR, asking for a different workload, ask a lighter workload, a different way to manage your workload. And not that stress only comes from work. Stress can come from the home. So if it's in the home, seeking outside help for mitigation, some kind of, relationship conversation if you can. We just read, as I've mentioned multiple times, PQ, Positive Intelligence by Shirzad Shamin. I think I'm saying that right. I'm getting closer. It's been over a month that we've been working with that book. And there are great practices in that book for handling the workload or relationship stress. And let me try to think of other stresses, financial stress, right? So anytime that you make tiny steps, because it's better to start with tiny steps towards a better reality, the universe starts opening the pathway for you. So, praying that in every night, writing affirmations, doing all the things that we've talked about, meditation, and then asking whoever you speak to, spirit, the universe, the goddess, God, Allah, Jah, right? Keep going. Whoever you speak to, asking your angels and your guides and your team, your source energy for help in finding that way out of that. So sometimes it's just as easy as taking a rest day every week and making sure that you can recharge, or two. Two is so much better. Taking naps, meditating, of course, and all the other things that we talked about too. But removing yourself from that stress. So going out in nature and walking. There's so many ways that we can lower that anxiety level because we're in this pace of life operating on go, 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 right? And that is what creates that adrenaline fatigue for us that leads to stress or vice versa. Okay. So anyway, I think that's good for today. I think I've given you enough tools. Go into the Facebook group if you haven't for extra tools. I'm going to send a couple of links that I was reading from today. And as always, I hope this worked. I'm going to remove the banners, I think, after a day or two. But you can be an affiliate with StreamYard. So Hannah is, and I am now. It's just a matter of you being a member. But by joining her StreamYard yesterday, and if you haven't seen that interview, it was such a lovely interview. I was outside and she was in France, and we had such a great conversation about manifesting and my new course that launched on Udemy. But her StreamYard then cued me to say, wait a minute, this whole time I could have been just streaming from my computer and not worrying about my phone and, and streaming to a third place. So I can stream to Instagram as well now. So I haven't been able to put these on Instagram, except for every few days. I put one on there because it was too much to try and download the video and blah, blah, blah. So anyway, if you stream from multiple places, check out StreamYard because you'll get $10 off and so will I. So that's my little plug for StreamYard. I'm trying it out. We'll see how it goes. I've used it before with other people attending their workshops and love it. So it's really easy to use. And so far, it was like a 2-minute setup for me. So Tune in tomorrow. Like I said, the next couple of days, I believe we're talking about relationships and the 5 people you surround yourself with and setting boundaries in relationships that may be toxic. So those are the next couple of days. Join us. Thanks for joining for Toxic Truths. If you like it, share it. If you want more resources, join our Facebook group. The link's below. Talk to you soon.